Did she end up giving all of her life source to him and then he wakes up and she dies? Like, that's another part of the interpretation you don't know.
Who the fuck knows?
It's like, what happened?
Hi everyone, welcome back to Sci-Fi and Romantasy Fans. Today we are here to talk about the Outlander finale. Please do not get mad at us. I love Outlander. We both love Outlander. We have stuck with this show for 8 seasons.
You and I have both been fans. I mean, I can't tell you all how many times we'd be on the phone together talking late in the night about this series and how much we loved it in the show.
But the Outlander finale was a mess.
Not only was it a mess, it also felt like a season finale and not a series finale. I mean, the one word that keeps coming to my brain is robbed. I felt like I was robbed with that series finale.
Jamie and Claire, no arc.
Yeah.
They are the main characters. You should be focusing on an arc for them. I mean, her arc could have been, I time traveled to be with you. I made my daughter time travel to be with you. I made my son-in-law time travel so we can all be together. And now, nobody can escape death. And everyone has to deal with death at some point. And that could have been a good arc for Claire to accept, that you have this magical time travel ability, you're a healer, you have worked your entire life to prevent death. Her arc could have been, okay, ultimately, I have to accept the death of someone I loved, even though I had this magical time traveling ability. But no, nothing. There was no falling action or resolution. We didn't get to see how their death or their life affected anybody else in the family. There was no falling action. There was no resolution. It just stopped. Did Jamie's spirit go back in time and open the portal just so Claire could time travel in season 1? If so, what was the point? It didn't feel like the time travel ended up having any spiritual significance. There was no reason for her to go other than he wanted her to be with him because he loved her. Which, okay, but it would have been so much better if there had been some higher purpose making sure that certain people went back in time to make sure certain significant historical events happened. But they didn't play upon any of that. It just, okay, I want her to be with me, so I'm going to open up the stone. And that was kind of like, we weren't 100% sure if that was what he was doing. It was just alluded to.
And how did that, in the end, change history? Like you said, this whole thing is about you going back in time for history. I mean, look what happened with Frank. Look what happened. Like, it even got him to research and write a whole book about it and everything. Like, what happened with Jamie's death, and when you going back and changing all of these events in history, what ended up happening after that? If you decided to stay or go back in the future, what did your role play based on that? And we didn't see any of that either.
No, it was pointless. That's the thing why we felt robbed, because it just felt pointless. And then we didn't get to see how Jamie's death affected the whole family. If you're going to have this major death and like, okay, the patriarch, father, grandfather, everyone loves him, he dies. We needed a falling action and resolution to see how it affected Brianna, how it affected Marcy, how it affected all of their children, Ian and Roger, there was this gigantic family. We didn't get to see how this death affected anyone.
When you have a character that you love so very much and has impacted so many people, you want to see how that impact that he's had change them and the world around them, and you feel robbed when you don't get that. We don't actually know if he dies. Did she end up giving all of her life source to him and then he wakes up and she dies? Like, that's another part of the interpretation you don't know.
Who the fuck knows?
It's like, what happened?
This trend. Writers and showrunners and producers are not giving us conclusive finales. There's this trend going on now, and we both hate it, where they treat the finale like a choose your own, a crappy 70s style choose your own adventure book. Stranger Things was so bad. Either Eleven is dead or alive. They wanted us to decide if she was dead or alive. They wanted us to decide if Vicky and Robin actually ended up together. They wanted us to decide when and how Dustin broke up with Susie. They wanted us to decide how Nancy killed a bunch of soldiers and never went to jail for that. They wanted us to decide why Dr. K and all the soldiers left. Okay, Duffers, you know what? You were the ones who got paid almost $500 million for this final season. So how about you write your endings? Outlander did the same thing. Are they dead or not? Are they in the afterlife? Are they both waking up in the afterlife? Are they both still alive? Because there was that magical power that she used to bring back the baby this season that they kind of said like, okay, well, yeah, that was also done to Faith. That they were suggesting that she had some, and other people had this magical ability to bring people back from the dead. So they hinted at that. Like, okay, is that what happened? You decide.
Well, and
All
especially
right,
if
so,
you're a reader of romance, most romance fans want an end, right? Whether it's happily ever
oh yeah.
after, or I think of one like A Walk to Remember that didn't end happy, but there was an emotional reason. There was a, you're sad about it, but there was a reason why, right? It developed the character. It was always going to happen kind of thing. But yeah, to not get a true end or to have to like make it up, look, that's what's fan fiction for. I can go write my own fan fiction. I want to know from you, the author, or from,
The
the
screenwriter.
writer, give me an end.
Yeah.
Make if it's going to be a not happy ending, then make it have a reason why.
The whole finale, it didn't conclude. It just stopped. Like you're driving in a car and you have to slam on the brakes.
It just kind of felt like with this last season that the storytelling was getting kind of tired.
The whole last season felt like an historical documentary about day-to-day life in colonial America during the Revolution. It did not feel like a work of fiction because it had no point. We spent so much time with things that had no impact on the finale. For example, Amaranthia's crowned in gray, or whatever this bitch's name was. The character's actions made no sense. She knew her husband was alive and she went after William. Why would you be telling him, let's get together and make more babies when you know your husband's alive? I was like, this character's actions make no sense. It felt like she was just dropped in to have some tension this season with no point.
And the more we learned about her, the less I liked her. Like you said, she was she was very conniving. She was using William to get to for her own self or to get ahead. And it did felt like by the time you learned more about her that she really wasn't interested in him at all. It killed the entire relationship arc for me. It killed her as a character for me. Like as soon as I saw her true intentions and or what she did, I was like, that's it. I don't want nothing to do with her. You can take her off screen. Like she brings nothing to this.
And then Fanny, oh my God, Fanny, this little girl. I liked this character. I thought the actress was a really good actress. I thought she did a great job. But why would you introduce this character and then do nothing interesting with her all season? All she did was grieve, and I understand she went through this major loss, but there was this part where she touches the rock in the woods and she hears this incredible noise and then it breaks, and they're trying to introduce that she could be a time traveler too because she's Claire's descendant. Great. Okay. Why would you introduce that in the second to last episode? You have no time to do anything with this plot point that you're just thrown in. It was terrible.
That's what I'm starting to wonder now that I reflect more on this. I'm like, were they throwing these little things in that made no sense or had no character because they planned to bring those characters into Blood of My Blood? And like you said, the whole season, the poor girl is suffering and grieving. And then she goes through all of this, and then they promise her, don't worry, we'll always be here with you, we love you. And then in the ending, you're like, Jamie's dead, maybe not dead. Claire's maybe dead because she gave all her power as a white witch to him. I don't know, but it just kind of felt like, man, this poor girl, like she just can't catch a break either. So why bring her in and bring her nothing but more suffering? I didn't like it.
There was so much of this season spent on that bitchy, witchy mother and her son, who was the loyalist to the crown, who wanted to turn Jamie in for being a traitor. And then halfway through the season, he's shot, Claire fixes him, then the bitchy mother and the son just leave, and they have no impact on the climax. I was like, Jesus Christ, everything that you're introducing needs to impact the climax. And if it doesn't, it's just a waste of time. That's why I keep saying this felt like more like a depiction of we're trying to do a documentary style film of day-to-day life in colonial America. This is not something being shot for a classroom. It is a work of fiction, and we need to see a point to these characters and the story.
It was 3 or 4 episodes that could have been done in one episode. And the part that I didn't like is they went on and on about this his son dying, and he has 5 years to live, and he's got to do things in 5 years.
I have a box waiting for me, but not for 5 more years.
What does this have to do with the series finale? Like, I understand it's possibly leading up to Jamie having to join this other militia, so to speak, but I didn't need 4 episodes of this really King Hector's mother and her weirdo son with his prophecies, and it did absolutely nothing. It was like, this just kind of felt like another, let's throw this in here because we got to make 8 episodes and we don't know what we need to add to get it going.
Yeah, it was just filler. It was all filler. It would have been so much better if they had been on the battlefield together in the finale and that had been the final confrontation between the two of them. Then this whole build-up would have had a point in the climax. They should have been gun to gun, knife to knife, fist to fist in the final climax. then it would have had a point. But he just like left, he's paralyzed in a wheelbarrow halfway through the season. Pointless filler.
Yeah. Or at least bring him back somehow. I mean, like, even if he couldn't fight, right, because of what happened, like the mother could have been like, "Hey, I'm on your side. Here's like 50,000 weapons." Whatever. There could have been something that they could have done to show like, "Here's how we helped turn the tide." And like you said, nothing. So it was just like filler.
Fergus's death. This was not needed. It was just like you said, it was there just to be shocking.
And
this
it
had
didn't
no
happen in
point
the book either. So it was not,
Okay.
he does not die in the books. So.
Okay. And so they kill him off. We see Marceline grieve for like one episode after. Then she goes off. She's never seen again. She's in one clip in the finale. So we don't get to see how his death impacted her, impacted his children. This had no point. I can understand if Jamie was fated to die and then Claire was devastated. Then I could have seen if Marceline and Claire had come together, like they were the only two people who could understand each other because they just both lost the loves of their lives and they were grieving, and that they were an emotional support system after both of their husbands died. Then Fergus's death would have had a point. But that's not what happened. They just, and I was worried that Jamie was going to die because I thought that's what they were doing, but they just killed Fergus off, wrote her off the show. She appeared in one clip, and it was kind of like, it was like they were just trying to give us this emotional punch, but then it didn't have any impact on the rest of the story.
Yeah, I agree with you. So like you said, it's that wow factor, that emotional punch. Like we talked about, it didn't happen in the book because there was no need for it. And I'm like, okay, if he's going to die for a reason, then give it a reason. But it didn't feel like there was anything there for why he was going to be a martyr for printing the things that he was printing. It did absolutely nothing in that final battle that he would need to die over it. This didn't need to happen. It felt like you did this because you wanted to be like, I'm gonna like, give you that emotional thing. And I'm like, I don't like when someone, whether it's an author or whether it's a screenwriter, when you just do something to try to get some kind of wow factor or emotional thing that has no plot to the story, you just sit there at the screen and you're like, why? And that's what I felt like I did with this series finale. I was just like, why? The whole season, actually. But more so the finale was just, why? Why did this have to happen?
Jamie's will. I hate it to see where he was writing his will, because it was like, it has always been established that Fergus was his adopted son, William is his son from another woman, Brianna is his daughter with Claire, and then Ian is his nephew who's going to become like a son because they've gotten so close. So he has all of these different types of children. He has biological children and adopted children. Okay, and other family members that are like his children, and he has always said that he loves everyone equally. And then he's writing as well.
To my daughter, Brianna Ellen Fraser Mackenzie, I leave 2,000 acres of land from the land grant known as Fraser's Ridge.
I leave my biological daughter, Brianna, every inch of Fraser's Ridge and all its wealth and all of its riches, and 50 million tenants that all owe you monthly right now.
To Marsley Jane McKimmy Fraser, I leave my fine quills, ink and stationery.
I leave my adopted daughter, Marceline, some quill pens. I leave, like Ian, some guns.
To my dear nephew, Ian James Fitzgibbons Fraser Murray, who has been like a son to me, I leave my tools and my weapons.
What the hell?
To my son, my natural son.
To my biological
My
son.
only biological son.
Yeah, my only, that doesn't matter.
He gave his name, Fraser, to like Ian and to everybody else. So it's like, for you to like say, I'm adopting you, you now have the Fraser name, Fergus, all of them. And then to go and be like, only my biological. It just was like out of character for Jamie. And I didn't like it whatsoever.
You let us know in the comments, are we being too harsh? Did you like the finale? Why you like the finale? Please be nice in the comments. I'm so sick of people who disagree with something we said and they go like, you're the ugliest person that has ever walked on earth because I don't like what you said about my show.
Okay, you can think I'm ugly, but debate me on the point.
I know.
No.
Disrespectful comments. If you're unhappy with something we said, break it down, but be an adult. If you act like a child, you get expelled. Thank you so much. Please subscribe. Our next review will be of Off Campus. Please subscribe so you don't miss it. Everyone follow all of Lauren's content, all of her socials, link in the description. Please buy our books. If you need a book, check out our novels, link in the description. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.